In life, we human beings ask a lot of questions. From our childhood, we have seen that we have lots of questions that we want to ask, we want to know. Especially in the childhood, our inquisitiveness is even more. Why? Because we want to know everything. As we go ahead in life, we may stop asking the questions to someone, but in our mind, we always have questions. If we really think about what kind of questions do we ask? Some of the questions are to know something. What is this? How is this happening? Why is this happening? Yes, lots of questions are about knowing something. Whereas some of the questions that we have are about doing something. What should I do? Should I eat first and then sleep, or sleep first then eat? Should I study and sleep, or sleep and then study? What should I do in my life? What should I do? Which career should I choose? Which stream should I choose for my studies? Should I invest here or should I invest there? Should I buy this property or that property? This car or that car? What should I do? So some questions we want to know about the truth of things, and some questions are about what should I do. So we want to know what should I do. Now when we go around asking for answers to all these questions, sometimes we get the answers, sometimes we don't get the answers. But you know one thing, most of the times we get confusing answers. Why? Because different people tell different things. Then we are confused. Is this or that? Should I do this or that? Some people are saying like this, some people are saying like that. We get confused. Is there a particular place where all these questions are answered? Somebody will say, yes, Vedji, Google. Google answers everything. You see, Google maybe give you information. Nowadays with that Google scanning etc. also, suppose you are walking and there is a flower, you want to know more about that flower, you start your camera in Google, isn't it? And then it scans, then it gives all the information of that flower. What is that flower's name? What is its biological name? Botanical name? And then where is it found? What are its usages, etc., etc. But you try asking the Google, what should I do? Based on the data, it may give some answer. Nowadays, ChatGPT, etc. Now we are going from Google to ChatGPT, isn't it? Moving forward. Somebody recently asked me one very interesting question. Veji, what is the need to study all these Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, etc. from the Guru? Why? Today ChatGPT is there. You ask any question to the ChatGPT, it answers. You put it in ChatGPT, tell me one verse about mind control from Bhagavad Gita. Thak, it will give. Meaning also it will give. Commentaries also it will give. Whatever you want, you get. So what is the need of studying these Upanishads, these Vedas, these etc. from the Guru? So I said to that person, ChatGPT may be able to answer your questions, but ChatGPT will not be able to tell you what questions should we ask. What are the right questions? We may have hundreds of questions which we have been asking throughout, but what are those questions which are necessary to be answered for me, for my life as human being? What are those questions which I should pursue? See, not everything I should know. Please understand this. There are many questions which are useless, not required. What do you think is the economical state of India? If you are from that field, then that question becomes important for you, but not for many other people. Which mobile should I buy? What is the best model? If you want to purchase, if you are in that field, then okay. So there are so many things that we need not know. Who will tell us what should we ask? And who will give us the right direction as to what should we do to gain the knowledge of what we want in life. That is where we come to the scriptures. That is where we come to the Vedas. Veda, as all of us know, is the storehouse of knowledge. See, we have already studied 5 Upanishads with Shankara Bhashya, okay? More or less with the same group. Some of them might have joined, but more or less we are going with the same group. So I am not going to give you same introduction which I have given for last 5 Upanishads. Right? So we know Veda word comes from root vid. Vid means to know. So Veda, one meaning of the word Veda is knowledge. Storehouse of knowledge. What do you mean knowledge? Knowledge about the truth of everything. The truth of everything. The transactional truth and the empirical truth. Everything. I'll tell you why I am saying like this. So Veda may not have answers to your daily questions, but it philosophically answers all your daily questions, as well as the questions which you should ask, the questions which are dependent, which decide your life, the course of your life. Even those questions will be answered in the Vedas. Rather, Veda is meant for answering those questions. So Veda as knowledge is the storehouse of knowledge. It contains knowledge of everything, and therefore we say whatever knowledge is there other than Veda is also come from the Veda only. So Veda is the foundation of all knowledge, whether it is worldly knowledge or spiritual knowledge. Right? Another meaning of the word Veda is Vidyate Anena iti Vedaha, that by which we come to know. So Veda also becomes the means of knowledge. Knowledge itself is Veda, and the means of knowledge is also called as Veda. So that way, Shabda Rashi, Veda is called as Shabda Rashi, isn't it? Those mantras which give the knowledge, those mantras also are known as Veda. Vidyate Anena, the means of knowledge. Shabda Pramana, the authoritative means of knowledge. And it is authority for what? Alaukika Vishaye Vedaha Pramanam, it is said. Right? So for the things which are beyond this world, which we cannot experience here, Veda is the final authority. Why? Because there is no living being who can justify and who can guarantee that knowledge, because none of the human beings have experienced. So for all such topics, Alaukika Vishaye, Veda becomes the Pramana authority. We also have seen that this Veda as knowledge is one. But that one knowledge which was revealed to many different rishis at different times, in different places, collected together by Bhagavan Veda Vyasa and put in 4 volumes. Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharvaveda. So as knowledge, it is Apaurusheya. Apaurusheya means what? It is not authored by any one person. Just like any other knowledge. See, don't just think that Vedic knowledge is Apaurusheya. Any kind of knowledge is Apaurusheya only. One who goes behind the knowledge is revealed with that knowledge. Whether it is physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, economics, any kind of knowledge. Apaurusheya, not written by any one particular person. So Veda contains the knowledge specifically about topics which are beyond this world, which cannot be known by our senses, by our mind, by our intellect, by the equipment that we have. So for such knowledge, Veda, which is the authority, is then divided into 4 volumes. Why? For ease of our study. At that time, Veda was Shruti. Shruti means it was revealed to the rishis taught it to their students, the students heard, they taught it, they memorized it, and they taught it to the next generation of students, and that is how the knowledge was transferred by hearing. Therefore, it is called as Shruti. So Veda is apaurushaya, even Vedic mantras are apaurushaya. As it is they were revealed, as it is they were taught, as it is they were learned, they were heard and learned and then taught further to the next generation of students. So through this Guru-Shishya Parampara, when this knowledge was flowing down, it was observed that students are losing the capacity to retain all the knowledge which the Guru is giving. Why? Because the mind is becoming more and more extrovert. So mind is losing the capacity to retain that knowledge. At such time, Bhagavan Vedavyasji came and divided this entire knowledge into these 4 volumes. Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda. There are many parameters based on which he has divided. One of the simplest of parameters that we can understand is Rigveda contains all the metrical mantras. The mantra which has got Niyata Pada Akshara. Niyata means meter is fixed. Yajurveda contains mantras which are in prose, not in poetry, not in meter, but in paragraphs, most of the mantras. Samaveda contains most of the mantras which are in lyrical form, which are in song form. Not necessarily in a meter, but there is a rhythm to it. And then Atharvaveda contains some of the important mantras from all the Vedas, majorly from the Rigvedas. So Vedavyasa, got this entire knowledge divided into 4 volumes and gave it to one of his students each to learn, understand and propagate that particular Veda. Now this Veda is divided into sections. We have seen it so many times, okay? I'm not going to go back. 2 main sections of the Vedas are Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. Karma Kanda speaks of dharma. Means what? All the questions that we were talking about the world will be answered in Karma Kanda section. Right? So everything related to this world and any other world, which can be experienced by human being after the death of the body as well. All that will be answered in Karma Kanda, and it is majorly about what should I do to gain particular thing in the world. So in this world, suppose I want wealth, what should I do? Suppose I want putra, I want a son or a daughter, what should I do? Suppose I want to get married, what should I do? Suppose I want to become successful in my career, what should I do? Everything related to the world. And there are then other worlds also. How can I get the heaven where there is longer time of joy? What should I do here so that I get entry to the heaven? How can I go even beyond the heaven in higher worlds? What are the kinds of karmas that I must perform? What are the kinds of upasanas that I must perform? Which karma gives which result? Everything related to this is part of the first section called Karma Kanda. The second section deals with more philosophical, more internal questions. Who am I? Why am I born? Why am I born only as human being? Only to these parents at this time? What is the purpose of my life? What should I do to achieve that purpose of my life? We see so many things in the world, but what is the truth of the world? We hear so much about God. Who is that God? Where is it? How is it? The questions which are deeper, they are not to take us somewhere in the world to attain something of the world or of some other world, but these are deeper philosophical questions. Those are dealt with in Jnana Kanda. Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda. Sometimes Karma Kanda is divided into 2, Karma Kanda and Upasana Kanda. Then there will be 3 sections, Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda and Jnana Kanda. Sometimes that same Karma Kanda further divided into 2, Mantra and Brahmana, or Samhita and Brahmana, where Mantra contains the adoration of the nature, the mantras that are to be chanted while performing physical action, and Brahmana will contain the procedure of performing that action. Upasana Kanda itself is called as Aranyaka, which will contain the mental actions, the mental upasanas, sadhanas that I must perform. And Jnana Kanda is called as Upanishad. So if 2 sections of Veda, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda. If 3 sections of Veda, Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda and Jnana Kanda. If 4 sections of Veda, then Mantra or Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka and Upanishad. I am going fast because these are the topics that we have seen earlier. If somebody has not seen, please go back and check. Now we come to the Upanishad, which is the Jnana Kanda section. We have seen the word Upanishad itself means what? Upa means near, samipe. Ni, nishchayena, with determination. And simple meaning of sad means to sit. So Upanishad means to go near and sit with determination. To go near whom? To go near Guru. And sit with determination of what? Sit with determination of gaining this knowledge. So the very word Upanishad tells us that this is the Vidya, this is a knowledge which should be learned from a Guru. It's a must. And that is what we are doing. We are going near our Guru. Whether you call it Shankaracharya, whether you call it Gurudev, we are going near our Guru, sitting and studying this Mandukya Upanishad. That is what we are going to do. Right? Simple meaning of Upanishad is to go near and sit with determination. Go near Guru and sit with determination to learn this spiritual knowledge. We go deeper in Kathopanishad Bhashya. Shankaracharya has explained Sad Dhatu Shadl Visharana Gati Avasadanayoho. It has 3 meanings. Visharana, destruction. Gati, leading. Avasadana, loosening. So Upanishad means Upa and Ni, meaning remains same. To go near Guru and sit with determination. For what? For gaining the knowledge that will destroy the ignorance, that will lead us to the Supreme, and that will loosen the clutches of samsara. Visharana, destruction. Destruction of what? Destruction of ignorance. Gati, leading. Leading to what? Leading to the Supreme Brahman, Supreme Reality. And Avasadana means loosening. Loosening what? Loosening the clutches of samsara. So the knowledge that is gained, which will do these things, that knowledge is called as Upanishad. Therefore the famous line, Upanishad Shabdena Brahma Vidya Uchyate. The word Upanishad means Brahma Vidya. By the secondary meaning, the text Upanishad which gives that Brahma Vidya is also called as Upanishad. Primary meaning is knowledge, Brahma Vidya, knowledge of the Supreme Reality is called Upanishad. The text that gives that knowledge is also called as Upanishad by secondary meaning, Gaunartha. Right? Isn't it same as Veda? We said Veda means knowledge and Veda is also means of knowledge. Same way Upanishad is Brahma Vidya, and the book that is going to give me that Brahma Vidya, that book is also called as Upanishad. So in order to go within, in order to know the reality of me, in order to know the reality of the world, in order to know the reality of God, the knowledge that I must gain is called as Brahma Vidya. This knowledge is available in Upanishad. Right? This Upanishad is the topically culminative portion of the Veda. We said Veda has, you take any kind of classification, Jnana Kanda comes at the end, Upanishad comes at the end, topically, isn't it? It is not that Veda has got a chapter, page-wise division. First 50 pages mantra, then 50 pages Brahmana. It's not like that. Topically, what is the culminative message that the Veda wants to give us? That topically conclusive portion is called as Upanishad. And because of that topically conclusive portion, it is also called as Vedanta. Vedasya Antaha, the end portion of Veda. The culminative, the final essential meaning that the entire Veda wants to give. So, Veda is explaining about Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda. Why? So that we will come to this final meaning. That's why Upanishad is also called as Vedanta. Vedanto nama Upanishad Pramanam. Tad Anusareni Shariraka Sutrani cha. And then all the other texts which are explaining Upanishad or which are for further elaboration on the Upanishad, those also come under Vedanta. Fine. So we have understood what is Veda, we have understood what is Upanishad. Why do we come here? To get the answers, the basic answers to all our questions. And now this Upanishad, which is part of the Veda, which is the culminative portion, which may appear in any section. It can appear in Mantra, Brahmana or Aranyaka section also. How many such Upanishads are there? So we say there are so many Upanishads. Some say there are 2100 Upanishads. Some say there are 1000 Upanishads. 108 are generally accepted because in Muktika Upanishad the list is given of 108 Upanishads. Right? From those 108 Upanishads, 10 Upanishads are called as major Upanishads. Mukhya Upanishad. Why major Upanishad? Because the one who compiled these Veda, this entire knowledge into 4 volumes, Bhagavan Vedavyasa, he did analysis of Upanishads and wrote a book called Brahma Sutra. And while doing the analysis of the Upanishads, he took these 10 Upanishads for analysis. You can say it was his PhD thesis. So for his PhD thesis, he chose Vedas, from the Vedas, Upanishads. From the Upanishads, he chose these 10 Upanishads for further analysis and clarified all the topics that are coming in all the Upanishads by taking these 10 Upanishads as samples. We will see that the 10 Upanishads that he has taken are from all 4 Vedas. He has not taken in any particular Veda. And not only like that, he has also taken it from different sections. Mantra Upanishads are there. Upanishad when it appears in Mantra section. Upanishad when it appears in Brahmana section. Upanishad that appears in Aranyaka section. All kinds of Upanishads he has taken. And he has done this analysis. Now, because these 10 Upanishads were chosen by Bhagavan Vedavyasa for Brahma Sutra, the latter Acharyas, to establish their school of philosophy, also commented on these 10 Upanishads. Like Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji to re-establish Advaita Vedanta philosophy, Ramanujacharya ji to establish Vishishta Advaita philosophy, Madhvacharya ji to establish Dvaita philosophy. All the other Acharyas who want to establish a school of philosophy then commented on these 10 Upanishads. Therefore, these 10 Upanishads are called as major Upanishads, Mukhya Upanishad. And they are Isha, Kena, Katha, Prashna, Munda, Mandukya, Tittiri, Aitareyam cha Chandogyam, Brihadaranyakam tatha. There is a verse, Isha, Kena, Katha, Prashna, Munda, Mandukya, Tittiri, Aitareyam cha Chandogyam, Brihadaranyakam tatha. Isha, Kena, Katha, Prashna, Mundaka, these 5 Upanishads with Shankara Bhashya we have studied. Now we are entering into the second half. Mandukya Upanishad is what we are entering into. This Mandukya Upanishad that we are starting today is from Atharvaveda. Actually, the previous 2 Upanishads that we studied, the immediate 2, are also from Atharvaveda, Prashna and Mundaka, isn't it? So, Prashna, Mundaka, Mandukya is coming together. So, Mandukya Upanishad also, which is from Atharvaveda, we are going to study. Sometimes people get confused about Mundaka Upanishad and Mandukya Upanishad. You ask them, no, hey, which Upanishad you studied recently? Some Mandukya Upanishad I think we studied. No, the one that we studied is called Mundaka Upanishad. In the same Shakha, Mundaka Shakha, there is another Upanishad which comes, which is called as Mandukya Upanishad. Now, what is this word Mandukya? Sometimes they say Mundaka Sambandhi Mandukyam. Mandukya Upanishad is that which is Mundaka Sambandhi because it comes in that same Shakha. It has got connection with Mundaka Upanishad. Therefore, it is called as Mandukya. We saw Mundaka. Why it is called as Mundaka? When we were studying Mundaka Upanishad, I hope you remember. Munda means Shiras, head. Because this is the head of Vedas. This is the crown, main knowledge which is there, Brahma Vidya. Therefore, it is called as Mundaka Upanishad. Sometimes Munda means shaven head also, bald head. Because this is Brahma Vidya is to be studied by sannyasins. Viji, all of us are also sannyasins when we sit here to study. Sannyasya Shravanam Kuryat. When we sit for study, please make sure that you have no connection with the world. Why? Otherwise, you can't study this Brahma Vidya. This is a very very sacred knowledge. It requires your 100% attention. So that which is studied by the shaven-head sannyasis, therefore it is called as Mandukya Upanishad. Ka pratyaya there is not adding any meaning. Swarthik of pratyaya. Therefore Munda is Mundaka. And because this Mandukya Upanishad is Mundaka Sambandhi, therefore it is called as Mandukya Upanishad. Sometimes they say like this. Sometimes they say Mandukya Upanishad was revealed to one rishi whose name was Mandukya Rishi. Therefore the name came to the Upanishad called Mandukya Upanishad. But the traditional explanation that is given, they say that this Mandukya Upanishad was given by Bhagavan Varuna. Varuna Devata is the Acharya, teacher here, and he gave this knowledge to rishis. But when he gave this knowledge, he came in a form of a Mandukya, that is a frog. Therefore, this Upanishad is called as Mandukya Upanishad. As we study the Upanishad, we will see that the Guru and Shishya are not mentioned here. Not like Prashna, not like Mundaka, right? The previous two Upanishads that we have seen, we know who is the student, who is the Rishi, isn't it? 6 students are approaching Rishi Pippala, the Prashna Upanishad happens. Mundaka Upanishad also, Shaunako Havai Mahashalaha, isn't it? We know who is the student, who is the teacher. Here the names etc. are not there, right? Therefore, this is the classic explanation, traditional explanation which is given, that the Guru is Varuna Devata. He is giving this knowledge to rishis and he came in the form of a frog. Frog in Sanskrit is Mandukya, and therefore the text is called as Mandukya. Now, let us reflect a little bit on this. You see, frog has got connection with water. Correct? And therefore, mainly in the monsoon rainy season, frogs come out. So, Varuna Devata, which is the Lord of rains, coming in the form of Mandukya makes sense. Now, you see, the frog doesn't walk, doesn't crawl, doesn't fly, but it leaps, it jumps from one place to another. You must have seen. We play also game frog jump. We also jump like frog. We play also. Frog jumps from one place to another. If you see this Upanishad, which is a very short Upanishad, shortest of the major Upanishads. It has only 12 mantras. Ishavasya had 18. Mandukya Upanishad as such is the shortest. 12 mantras only are there. But you will see in the Upanishad, from one concept to another concept, from there to another concept, covering great ground, but in jumps. That is what frog does. That is what this Upanishad will also do. Mandukya Upanishad covers all the necessary points that are required in Vedanta, but they jump from one place to another. It is not an explanatory Upanishad. It is not. Okay? It is not. I hope this point is also clear. I heard another very interesting reflection also on this frog thing. They say when the frog starts to make that sound, creaking sound, you can't avoid it. If you want to experience it, you must come to this place, Adi Shankar Nilayam, in the monsoon. And if you get to stay in this scholars block, we have open courtyard, 2 open courtyards in the scholars block, and in that small pond is there. Throughout the night, there will be some 5-6 frogs making full sound. It's like a continuous music. They take breath and then they start. And you can't do anything about them. So somebody said, this Upanishad is also like that. There are many people who try to avoid Mandukya Upanishad. We will see why they do like that when we enter the Upanishad, we will know. But it is frogs creaking. Till when will you avoid? You just can't avoid it. You study any Vedantic text which will give you clarity, which will give you concept, which will give you definitions, which will explain sadhanas properly, you have to come to Mandukya. Why? Because this Mandukya Upanishad contains the final teaching. In Muktika Upanishad, which I was referring to, where the list of 108 Upanishads, that list is given, there, it's a very interesting Upanishad. Sometimes if we get chance, we will study that also, where Shishya is Hanumanji. And he is asking questions to Sri Ramachandra. Sri Ramachandra is the Guru there. So he asks one question there, Iyam Kaivalya Muktistu Kena Upayena Siddhyati. This Kaivalya Mukti, this liberation that you speak of, Jivan Mukti, etc. Kena Upayena Siddhyati. What is the Upaya, what is the way, means to gain this liberation? An interesting answer is given by Bhagavan. He says, Mandukya ekam eva alam mumukshunam vimuktaye. Mandukyam ekam eva alam mumukshunam vimuktaye. Mandukyam ekam eva alam. Mandukyam, Mandukya Upanishad. Ekam eva, one text alone, alam, is sufficient. Mumukshunam vimuktaye. For the seekers of liberation, vimuktaye, to gain liberation. You imagine the Upanishad which is giving list of 108 Upanishads, takes this Upanishad out and says this one Upanishad is sufficient. Like that, if you see any one Upanishad is sufficient, to any text is sufficient, any text of Vedanta is sufficient that way. Tattvabodha is also sufficient for us to gain knowledge. But why this particular? Because as I said, you can't avoid this text. For liberation, the final theory which we have to come to is given in this particular Upanishad. Now we said that this Mandukya Upanishad is extremely crisp, very short. But because it has so much content, a great sage, Gaudapadacharya, has written Karikas on this Mandukya Upanishad. Gaudapada Karika. This Gaudapadacharya is the Parama Guru of Shankaracharya. So Shankaracharya's, Adi Shankaracharya's Guru was Govinda Bhagavad Padacharya. His Guru was Gaudapadacharya. And he is in that lineage. If you see Narayanam, Padma Bhuvam, Vasishtham, Shaktim cha Tatputra Parasharam cha Vyasam, Shukam, Gaudapadam. You see, it comes there. And then you Govinda, Yogindra, Matasya, Shisham, Shankaracharya, and then 4 Shishyas of Shankaracharya, etc. It goes. So the Parampara starts with Narayana, Vishnu Bhagavan. Vishnu Bhagavan taught it to Brahmaji, Padma Bhuvam. Brahmaji taught it to Vasishtha Rishi. Vasishtha taught it to his son Shakti. Shakti taught it to his son Parashara Rishi. Parashara Rishi taught it to his son Parasharya, that is Bhagavan Vedavyasa. Vedavyasa taught it to his son. Who is Vedavyasa's son? Shuka Brahmarshi. And Shuka Brahmarshi, with that, now the lineage according to son is over. All so far was father, son, father, son, father, son. So from that lineage, Guru-Shishya in the form of father, son has come up to Shuka Brahmarshi. Shuka Brahmarshi did not get married. So Shuka Brahmarshi taught it to his student, who was Gaudapadacharya. So Gaudapadacharya is that important link for us for Vedanta. And if you see carefully, the line between Purana and Itihasa merges with Gaudapadacharya. We listen to all these people, Shuka Brahmarshi, Vedavyasa, in the ancient history, in the Itihasa of Mahabharata, Ramayana, and in Puranas also we listen to the stories. Then the modern history which starts, we have Gaudapadacharya ji, who is connecting this ancient history to the modern history. And this Gaudapadacharya ji has written Karikas on Mandukya Upanishad. Now what is Karika? Karika basically means verse. In Sanskrit, no, an independent verse is called as Karika. Okay. Sometimes it also can be translated in English as gloss. Gloss means what? An explanation in detail. So what Gaudapadacharya has done, it's not a commentary. Please don't get confused. It is not a commentary on the Upanishad. See, commentary means what? Commentary has to follow certain rules. We have seen earlier also. What is Bhashya? Commentary means mantra artho varnyate yatra vakyaihi mantra anusaribhihi swapadani cha varnante bhashyam bhashyavido viduhu. So what is a Bhashya? What is a commentary? A commentary has to explain each word of the mantra. Correct? And its explanation should follow the thought flow of the mantra. And it should also explain the new words that it itself is using to explain the mantra. Swapadani cha varnante. That is called as a commentary. So what we have studied so far for Ishakena Kata Prashna Mundaka, Shankaracharya's commentary, that is commentary Bhashya. Now this Gaudapadacharya's composition is not a Bhashya, it is called as Karika. Why? Because it is taking the concept from the mantra and then giving elaborate explanation. Not giving word to word meaning of the mantra, not following the same logical flow, nothing. After studying Mandukya Upanishad, you can call this is Gaudapadacharya's PhD thesis. Why? Because he is explaining all the mantras. So he has written 215 verses for explaining 12 mantras of the Upanishad. And generally, Mandukya Upanishad is studied along with the Karika. And that is why Bhagwan Shri Adi Shankaracharya ji, who is the commentator, has commented upon the mantras as well as Gaudapada Karikas. So we see Bhashyakara Shankaracharya ji commenting on the mantras of the Upanishad and also on the Karikas, on the verses written by Gaudapadacharya. And that is why this text becomes one of the biggest and very, very, very important texts of Vedanta. Understood? Karika is not a Bhashya, not a Tika, Tippani, Vartika. It's not that. It is just an elaboration. Right? That is what Karika is. Now, a word of caution before we go forward. Mandukya Upanishad explains the highest theory in Vedanta, which is called as Ajativada, theory of no creation. As we go forward, we will understand what is this theory that we are speaking about. Or in other words, Drishti Srishtivada, the final point of Drishti Srishtivada, not even Drishti Srishtivada. It only talks about the higher aspects of Drishti Srishtivada. Now, because Mandukya Upanishad only speaks of that, including the Karika. Now, when I say Mandukya Upanishad, please understand Mandukya Karika. Right? Mandukya along with Karika. Since it speaks of that Ajativada, or what otherwise called as Ekajivavada, the theory of single individual, single soul, it has utter disregard for the existence of the world. It does not discuss world as though it is some kind of reality. Some kind of reality, okay? Not even giving full reality, of course not. Not even giving the apparent reality to the world. And that is why, when in the other books we have explanation of world as mithya, etc., such explanation you will not find in Mandukya Karika. And therefore, a word of caution, we must prepare ourselves for studying this Upanishad in a particular way, in a correct way. If not understood properly, if not taken properly, it can lead to catastrophe in sadhana. So please make sure that as we start the study of this Upanishad, we increase our sadhana, especially the sadhana of saguna. Okay? There will be occasions when it will be directly opposing the concept of saguna itself. We will see at that time. But please increase the sadhana. That alone will give us capacity to study this Mandukya Karika properly. Okay? I remember when we study in 2 years Sandipani Gurukul, first some 40 Prakarana Granthas are taught of Shankaracharya ji and Raman Maharshi and such acharyas. Daksha, Panchadashi, some chapters, etc. of Vidyaranya Swami, etc. Such texts are taught first. Bhagavad Gita also goes on simultaneously. Upanishads are also taught. At the end, Mandukya Upanishad and Brahma Sutra is taught. No matter what is the sequence of the texts that happened in different batches of Sandipani, earlier texts can have different sequence based on the acharya, based on the student, but these last two remain same. Mandukya is the last Upanishad that is taught, and Brahma Sutra is taught after that. That is it. Alright? And I remember when we were studying Mandukya Upanishad, our Acharya ji, Swami Advaita ji told us to read Kindle Life every day. Now, those who know, those who are from Chinmay Mission, Kindle Life is the most basic text that we study at the beginning of our study. Even before going to any Prakarana Granthas, we study Kindle Life. Authored by our Gurudev. Absolute basics, Foundation Vedanta course, what we have in SIF, no? That's based on Kindle Life only. And we were wondering what is happening. 2 years we have studied, we have come to this understanding. Why is Swamiji telling us to do that? To keep us grounded. Why? Sometimes this knowledge which is given is of such height that people may lose track of where we are. It is not Bhagavad Gita that we are studying. Please understand this. Bhagavad Gita keeps us grounded. Bhagavan Shri Krishna is so compassionate that after every point he comes back and says, therefore Arjuna, get up and fight. So that Arjuna does not forget what he has to do. And Arjunam Nimitti Kriti is talking to all of us. So even after giving highest self-knowledge, he comes back and says, therefore now get up and do your duty. Sometimes in Mandukya Upanishad, the topic will take us so high that we may forget what is the next sadhana that we are supposed to do. Why? Topic is higher, we still have to reach there. We have to do our duties, we have to do our sadhana. So please be careful. Okay, pray to God that we remain, firm on our sadhana as we study Mandukya Upanishad. It's a very important Upanishad which we must study, but we must be very careful while studying this Upanishad. Alright, that much introduction is sufficient. The Gaudapadacharya is divided into 4 chapters. What are those chapters, etc.? Shankaracharya ji in Bhashya will explain. That time we will see introduction Bhashya is there. Alright. Now, because the Mandukya Upanishad is also from Atharvaveda, it has the same Shanti mantra which we had for Prashna and Mundaka, and that is Bhadram Karnebhih. So let us chant the mantra. I will chant, repeat after me. We will see the meaning and then we will conclude today's session. One more thing I have to tell. Mandukya Upanishad will go little different way than others. Okay. So the class also will go in different way. So far you are used to 7 o'clock it starts, 8 o'clock it ends. It may not happen this Upanishad. I am telling you beforehand. Before the first class 8 o'clock, I am telling you it may not happen that way. Yes, it will start at 7 o'clock. But whether it will end exactly at 8 o'clock, I am not sure. Because according to the topic, we have to go. Though I have given you rough idea of when are the classes going to happen and how many total number of classes are there. Right now I am not going to think about how many number of classes are there. Why? Because I want to do justice to every single paragraph, because this is a very important text. Not that other texts are not important, but other texts we know that the topic is going to come in some other Upanishad. So we know that this can be further explained there. The topics that are going to come here will mostly not come in any other Upanishad. Therefore, I will give time to whatever concept is there. Therefore, a class may extend a bit. Each class also and the number of classes also may, okay, it may finish as given as scheduled. You never know, but just giving warning beforehand. All right. Later on, don't accuse me. Let us chant the Shanti mantra, because first time, therefore I will chant, repeat after me. From tomorrow onwards, we chant the Shanti mantra with the beginning prayers. Please repeat. People here also can repeat. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaah. Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraah. Sthirairangai stuštuvagam sastanubhih. Vyashema devahitam yadayuhu. Swasti na indro vriddhashravah. Swasti nah pusha vishvavedah. Swasti nastarksho arishtanemihi. Swasti no brahaspatir dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us chant it together. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaah. Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraah. Sthirairangai stuštuvagam sastanubhih. Vyashema devahitam yadayuhu. Swasti na indro vriddhashravah. Swasti nah pusha vishvavedah. Swasti nastarksho arishtanemi. Swasti no brahaspatir dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So traditionally, the Shanti mantra is chanted at the beginning of the study of any Upanishad by the teacher and the student together to invoke peace. As we are starting this important task of gaining the knowledge, it is important that we are in mental space which is peaceful. So this peace invocation is Shanti mantra, and generally the Upanishad belongs to whichever Veda, the Shanti mantra of the same Veda is taken. So this is a Shanti mantra of Atharvaveda, Mandukya Upanishad belonging to that will have same Shanti mantra. Let us see the simple meaning. Om is to remember that Supreme Lord. Om, as we know, is the common name of all the gods, all the different forms of God. And interestingly, the main topic of Mandukya Upanishad is Om. So I am not going to explain any further because the entire Upanishad does that. First 7-8 mantras are for explaining that Om. So remembering the Lord, we start. And what is the prayer that we are doing in the Shanti mantra? Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama. He Devaha, O Devatas, Yajatraha Devaha, O worshipful deities, may we hear with our eyes that which is auspicious. Bhadram, auspicious. Karnebhih, through the eyes. Karnaihi, Arsha Prayoga is Karnebhih, through eyes. Bhadram Shrunuyama. May we, ears, sorry, not eyes. Ear. Karnaihi is ears. May we hear auspicious through our ears. Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama. Bhadram Pashyema Akshabhi. Bhadram Akshabhi Pashyema. May we see what is auspicious through our eyes. So to the deities, who are the deities of the natural forces, some of them will be mentioned in the second line. To them we are praying that may we hear what is auspicious through our ears and may we see auspicious through our eyes. Eyes and ears being the main Jnanendriyas. We have Pancha Jnanendriyas, we have 5 sense organs, but mainly the input comes from eyes and ears. And therefore from them we are praying that may we hear auspicious, may we see auspicious. Then the next prayer is Sthiraihi Angaihi, with the limbs which are firm. Sthira means firm. Anga means parts of the body, limbs. With these firm limbs, Tuštuvamsaha. Tuštuvamsaha, may we praise your praising your glories, praising the glory of the great Lord. Tanubhihi, with these body parts, Vyashema, may we live. So you have to connect it like this. Sthiraihi angaihi tanubhihi, with the body that has got firm limbs. Tuštuvamsaha, praising your glories. Vyashema, may we live. How long? Devahitam yat ayuhu. Whatever ayu, whatever age is allocated to us, Devahitam, as per the Devatas, or Devahitam, Daivahitam also, one meaning is, according to my prarabdha karma, whatever lifespan I have got, I have been allocated, that lifespan may we live with the body that has got firm limbs so that we can worship you. See, so much is there in one Shanti mantra. Okay. First prayer is, may we hear what is auspicious through our ears. Second is, may we see what is auspicious through our eyes. Third prayer actually is that may we have firm limbs. But why? So that we can worship you in whatever lifespan allotted to us. So in order to worship you, in order to serve you, may we have that body strength that is required. Alright? Now remember, when we say that we must hear what is auspicious, we must see what is auspicious, it is imperative on us that we must speak what is auspicious and we must keep things that are auspicious. Why? Because what we speak, we hear first. And how we keep things, that is what we are going to see first. So when we are requesting, when we are praying for these auspicious things to hear and see, we must speak good things. We must keep things which are in neat and tidy and nice and auspicious. Right? And now we go to the second line where the prayer is done to particular deities. First it says, Swasti, may there be, Swasti, may there be, may bless us. Naha Swasti. Naha means for us. Swasti. Who should bless us? Indraha. First deity that is worshipped or prayed to is Indraha. Indra is the king of all the devatas. And what is the adjective used for that Indra? Vriddhashravaha. Vriddhashravaha means famous. He is very popular. Everybody knows who is Indra. So Vriddhashravaha, of ancient fame. Vriddha, for long time Shravas, he is very famous. May that Indra, which is of ancient fame, bless us. Second, Swastinaha, may he bless us. Who? Pushaha. Pushaha, Pushan, Lord Surya, sun god. Who is that? Vishwavedaha, who knows everything. Why? Surya is the Sakshi for all the karmas. So everything that is happening in his watch. So he knows everything. Vishwavedaha Pushaha Naha Swasti Dadatu. Third, Swastinaha Tarkshaha Arishtanemihi. Tarksha, one meaning is Garuda. Tarksha basically means the lord of swift motion, one who moves very fast. So Garuda, who is the Vahana of Bhagavan Vishnu, moves very fast, therefore he is called as Tarksha. Or Tarksha can also refer to Vayu Devata, because Vayu also moves very fast. Swastinaha Tarkshaha Arishtanemihi. Arishtanemihi, one who saves us from Arishta, from wrong, from harm, one who protects us from bad things. Such Tarksha Naha Swasti Dadatu, may bless us. And then finally we say swasti no brihaspatir dadhatu. So the dhatu verb which has come here, which is to be provided in all the other three places also. Dadhatu, may bless us. Who? Brihaspatihi. Final prayer is to Brihaspati, the guru of devatas. So Indra, then Pusha, the sun god, Tarksha, Garuda or Vayu Devata, and Brihaspati. So the prayer is to all these four. I heard a very beautiful interpretation of this Shanti mantra from Swami Shardananji, which is so wonderful and so eye-opening. So far what I told, I have already explained in the previous two Upanishads also. Alright? That's why I went fast. Now, you see the first line of the mantra has got four aspects. Can you see that? Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama. Bhadram Akshabhihi Pashyema. Sthiraihi Angaihi Tushtuamsa. Tanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayu. Four aspects are there. And in the second line, we have four devatas that we are praying to. Now, if we see beautifully, it is asking for swasti. Swasti means well-being of the four personalities that we have. We as human beings have four personalities. Not the personality disorder kind of personalities, but everybody has got these four personalities. What are these four personalities? We say physical personality, emotional personality, intellectual personality, and spiritual personality. Body, mind, intellect, and the truth. Right? Four personalities we have got. Now, in these four sections of the first line and the second line, we are asking for the well-being of these four personalities. Now, let us see how these all are connected. Beautiful connection is there. First devata that we are praying to is Indra. Indra is the devata of mind. Indra is the devata of mind. And Indra is also a king of all deities. You see, mind is also the king of all the Indriyas. It is the mind who governs everything. Dhyanendriya, Karmendriya, everything. So Indra is devata of mind. And that is why in the Puranic stories you must have seen, whenever anybody is doing any tapasya, Indra feels threatened. And he starts to put obstacles. Why? Because Indra is mind. Tapasya means what? You are trying to get rid of mind, you are trying to win over the mind. Mind will get frustrated, irritated, and then it will show, different things. Sometimes Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha will come as apsaras, and some difficult situations will be there, etc. Mind only is creating all these things. In Puranic stories, it is depicted as Indra is doing all these things. Indra is mind. So through Indra, first we are asking for mental well-being. Who is this Indra? How the mind will have mental well-being? Vriddhashravaha. The mind that has become vriddha, matured by shravana. The mind that is trained, mind that is learned will be a good mind. So the mental well-being can be achieved, emotional well-being can be achieved by a lot of good hearing shravana. And therefore, you go to the first line, the first prayer is Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama. May we hear auspicious things. So that by listening to this auspicious with lot of shravana, our mind becomes well. Emotional well-being is achieved by the grace of Indra. Can you see the connection? First line of the second is Indraha Vriddhashravaha. First section of the first line is Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama. So you see, that is the first well-being that we are asking for, emotional well-being. Second is Pushan. Pushan is Surya Devata. Surya is Devata of intellect. Buddhi Devata. And that's why in Gayatri Mantra which is dedicated to Surya, isn't it? Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tat Savituhu Varenyam. I am worshipping that Savita, that Surya. Why? Why Savitur Varenyam? Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyah yo nah prachodayat. May he enlighten our intellect. So Pushan, Surya Devata, is the Lord of intelligence. Therefore, the second we are praying is for intellectual well-being. How intellectual well-being will be achieved? See the adjective for Pusha, Vishwavedaha, by knowing what is essential. Vishwaveda is by knowledge. Intellect becomes strong by knowledge. Mind becomes strong by training. You see, Shravana was the training. Intellect becomes strong by knowledge. How can I know things? See the second portion of the first line. Bhadram pashyema akshabhihi. May we observe right things. Why? Because knowledge is gained by observing. Wisdom we are talking about, not information. That wisdom comes by observing. So may we attain that intellectual well-being. Third, Tarksha. Tarksha, we said two meanings, Garuda also, Vayu also. If you take Vayu, Vayu Devata is the Devata, is the deity for pranas in our body, physiological functions. Therefore, by praying to Tarksha, we are praying for physical well-being. Our body is actually fit because of the pranas. When we run, no, we say, I am tired. Who is actually tired? Don't think that legs are tired. Legs are not tired. It is the pranas that are tired. Even the pain in the muscle is because of pranas, not because of the legs. This is instrument. Hand and legs, they will do whatever you want them to do if the pranas are powerful enough. So prana, by praying to Vayu Devata, we are asking for physical well-being. Why? How can we achieve physical well-being? Arishtanemihi. That Vayu Devata is who? The one that destroys Arishta. Arishta here means diseases. Adhi and Vyadhi. The physical ailments and the mental ailments. So we are praying for that. And the corresponding line in the first line, if you see, corresponding portion is Sthiraihi Angaihi Tanubhihi Tushtuvam Saha. May we have sthira, firm limbs for this body so that we can worship you. So you see, mental well-being, emotional well-being, intellectual well-being, physical well-being. Last, Brihaspati. Brihaspati is Guru. Guru of the Devatas. Brihaspati represents the life principle in us, the Jiva Tattva. And thus we are asking for spiritual well-being also. How this spiritual well-being can be achieved? Devahitam yadayuhu tushtuvam sahavyashema. By living a life which is in praise of that Lord, in service of that Lord. What life? Whatever lifespan is allotted to us. We are not asking for one breath extra or one breath less. We are not asking for that. Whatever is there allotted to us, may we live it as a service for the Lord. Right? So to live that life, how to live that life? We study, we understand, we live, and then we serve the world. Why should we serve the world? Because service of our country is the service of Lord of Lords. Devotion to the people is the devotion to the Supreme Self. Remember the lines from Chinmay Mission Pledge? So thus we are asking, we are praying for well-being for us. You see how beautifully this mantra is explaining? Emotional well-being, intellectual well-being, physical well-being, spiritual well-being. May by the grace of God, we have all this so that our life becomes service unto Him. Okay? After the class is over, please take some time to go through the ideas, see what we have understood, write it down, maintain your proper notes. Don't have faith in your memory. Never. Why? Our memory will always fail us. All the useless things it remembers. All the necessary things it conveniently forgets. Don't have so much of faith. Yes, memory should be used, but you keep handy your notes. Okay? Please spend some time reflecting on these ideas after every session. Before the session also, if 5 minutes we can do some chanting, it will be very good. Okay? We'll try if here there is somebody who will chant. If not, at least online, those who come together, at least beginning. Asha Amma, if you can lead, that will be wonderful. Just simple chanting Om Namah Shivaya also, if you do every day, there is no problem. But allow the mind to settle down for the study. Alright? Chalo. We'll conclude today. Tomorrow we will continue from here.